a rewatch to really get into it.
Oh, I thought Step Brothers from Jump was Catalina wine mixer, man.
Beep and
I cleaned it up. I cleaned it up. Although Tom Brady's dad did not clean up his thoughts. I don't know if you guys saw this on the podcast up in Boston, but I think it was Tom Cullen, I think is his name, his podcast. And Tom Brady Sr. did not hold back on how special it was for his son to basically shove it up Bill's behind with that Super Bowl win last year. I don't know if you guys saw it, but, man, it's like, whoa. All righty. In fact, we kind of talked about it yesterday, did we not, or the day before? Like, you could just tell. Remember we were talking about, like, how Brady looked at Gronk and when it was over and just how they acted? You could tell there was some venom. Oh, yeah, it was when we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, so it was yesterday. It was like you could just tell there was real motivation behind last season because I think both of them wanted to kind of – I don't think there's any doubt that Gronk probably what helped contribute to his retirement was just, the no-fun Bill Belichick. But, I mean, it's how do you knock his system? How do you knock, how he's gone about his business? They've done a whole lot of winning, so it's kind of really hard to say anything. But it just obviously didn't fit him. He's a fun guy, wants to have fun. And it was just interesting. Tom Brady Sr. not holding back. He's like, was your son vindicated with that Super Bowl win? You're damn right he was. I'm like, all righty then. All right, I think we've got Predators defenseman Dante Fabro on the line with us. He knows a little bit about the Boston area. Dante, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Did you get suffocated with Patriots stuff when you were playing at BU?
Yeah, quite a bit. Obviously, we had a bunch of Boston boys on the team, so obviously they didn't stop talking about the Pats and how good they were. And then obviously when Brady left, you saw what happened to their team for that year there. So yeah, I mean honestly, I became a fan, but I think I was more of a Brady fan than anything. And So as soon as he switched out of there, I started to become a Tampa Bay fan, and obviously with the Titans here too. So, but yeah, I mean they didn't stop talking. But honestly, I got lucky. Saw a couple Super Bowls and the Red Sox win a World Series with my time there.
Yeah, there was some winning done when you were there. Speaking of that, I was thinking about this morning before the show because we knew you were going to come on here at the beginning. It doesn't seem that long ago, but the more time that goes by, it's that window's getting a little bit longer. But it is crazy to think about, Willie, when we were talking to Dante when he was in college, right? When he was still a student athlete and still playing hockey at BU and just talking about this journey that you're on now of trying to make it in the NHL and be a full-time player. When you reflect back on those conversations, I don't even know if you remember talking to us knuckleheads there at Centennial Sportsplex.
No, he's tried to forget that. A
little bit younger, but here you are, now, you are a full-timer in the NHL. You've been that way since basically right out of college. Well, that window hasn't been big, but when you reflect back on that, what has it been like to get to this point where you are today?
Well, I think first off, what first comes to mind is obviously the people who've helped me get me to where I'm at now, and just the environment I grew up in my household with my dad, and how strict he was on training and making sure I'm working hard and in all aspects of life, school, hockey, whatever it may be. And I mean, just looking back at college, obviously I had an opportunity to maybe leave after my second year, and I had ended up deciding to stay. And honestly, I think that was probably one of the better decisions I had made. I knew I wanted to play in Nashville and be a part of this organization, but I felt my personal strength and maybe my cardio or whatnot, I just didn't feel like I was ready for the NHL, and so I took that extra year and really tried to develop my game and kind of round up my game to be a full-timer in the NHL. And obviously I'm still working towards being the best player and best version of myself.
Well, with that being said, as you continue to be a student of the game and try to refine and keep moving forward with your progress as a full-time NHLer, who is somebody maybe you leaned on, somebody that did have influence on you every step of the way to where you are today? How would you answer that? Was there anybody in particular?
I mean, it's tough to answer that because I feel like there's so many people along the way, throughout minor hockey to, my junior levels to college. So I wouldn't say there's one specific person, but if I were to choose, I'd definitely say probably my dad and my grandpa. They've supported me throughout everything, every decision, and it wasn't easy most days, but they helped me push through a lot of things, and so a lot of credit to those two.
Pushing through some things. Obviously, last year wasn't exactly the way you wanted to go. Obviously, it ended early, but you as a player, as you continue to grow, what do you think you need to work on? I think we've asked you this before, and it's interesting to see if answers change over time as you continue to grow in the game. But reflecting back this offseason and working out and trying to refine your game, what do you think you need to grow on or you need to refine the most, just to help you keep moving forward? How would you answer that?
Well, I think specifically this off season, I worked quite a bit on my skating. I felt towards the end there last year, obviously when I got hurt and then I came back, I felt just kind of a half step slow, and so did a lot of power skating this summer and just trying to refine, my edge work and making sure I'm getting the most out of every push, and I felt like it's helped quite a bit and changed up a little bit of my off-season, workout regiments, and but for the most part, it was a big emphasis on my skating this off-season, and I feel like I've made strides, but like I had said kind of earlier, can't really be satisfied with a couple strides. I want to keep moving forward in the right direction.
Will it be weird, Dante, looking back, peeking over your shoulder, looking behind you this season and not seeing 35 at all in the picture? Will that be weird? I mean, it's going to be weird for all of us who have been covering him since day one. It's going to be weird not to see him out there. Is it going to be weird for a player like you?
Yeah, I think definitely. Just, it speaks for himself just how good he is and, how good of a person he is around the rink. And I know his personality is going to be missed around the locker room and amongst the guys. So, he's so important to this organization still, even though he's obviously retired and enjoying himself now. But he does mean a lot to this community and the organization. And guys still now are talking about him. And he will be missed. And but with hockey, things have to move forward. And I wish nothing but the best for Pex and in the future and whatever his endeavors are.
We are going to have to get used to that. Dante Fabro is with us, Predators defenseman. And Dante, I want you to build on your answer a little bit more. That was great insight about your offseason, what you decided to do. I also wonder, just from a competitive edge standpoint, you're a competitor. I saw Ryan Suter go through this when he was about your age. For whatever circumstance, didn't get the nod in a playoff series, and that's got to drive you a little bit. That's got to burn a little bit. I'm wondering if that helped you go through this process in the offseason to really go at it and say, I got to get to the next level.
Yeah, I think I definitely left last year with a bit of a chip on my shoulder, and I think that's honestly it was good for me to have that chip and go through the off season and push myself harder than probably I ever have, and I think that kind of resonates in your mind a little bit. And at the end of the day, it's a new year, a new season, and I want to come in here with a clear head and just work as hard as I can and earn everything I get. Obviously, it's nobody in this life wants to give something given to them, and especially myself, I feel like I want to earn it, and I want to be able to be in the lineup every night. So it's never easy, but at the end of the day, it's kind of up to me and how I play and how I perform.
Dante, I thought about you. I thought about Alex Carrier, and of course, one of the guys involved in the trade that day is Phil Myers. But when they traded Ryan Ellis, that was one of the first things I was thought of. What an opportunity for Dante Fabro. So tell me what went through your mind when you heard that trade was happening.
Honestly, I didn't know what to think when it first happened. I was a little bit shocked, but it's part of the game, and trades happen, guys get moved, and but as soon as it kind of settled in, I did realize there was a bit of an opportunity for me to hopefully get some ice time and be able to to play in certain different situations than I have in the past. So, even just thinking about that in the off season, just preparing myself and getting mentally ready for this camp and making sure I'm putting my best foot forward and I have day. Everyone doesn't have great days and other off days or whatnot, but those off days I got to make sure I'm ready to go and prepared for for whatever comes my way.
Tell me, what do you think the makeup of the team looks like? I know it's really early. You guys are just getting started, trying to reestablish the identity and all the positive feelings that were happening down the stretch last year. But the team looks like it's getting a little bit younger. There's still that core that's been there for a long time, but there's a lot of young players around your age that can form a really good nucleus going forward here. What does that feel like?
Feels good. It feels good to be a part of that. And just like you had said, we have such a good leadership core with our team, and those guys will definitely lead the way and lead the charge. But it's obviously up to some of the younger guys to continue that and make everyone better every day. I know Coach Hines had big emphasis on pushing each other every day in practice, and no easy days, and make it hard on everyone else just so they can get better. So I think that's a big focus in the locker room right now, is just making sure you're taking the most out of every day and helping prepare your teammates as well.
Dante Fabro is with us, Predators defenseman. Along those lines, Dante, with kind of building off the core that's here, building a new core for the future, you being a part of that, and we mentioned earlier without Pekka back there, UC is back there, and we saw him really grow last year to become one of the premier goaltenders in the league. So how special is that we've always asked the question of what it was like to have 35 in between the pipes. Well, what's it like now to know you're playing with the future in goal for the Predators and watching him grow?
Yeah, I think when I first got here, I remember actually telling my dad, telling him how good actually Juice was, and obviously my dad hadn't seen him play that much, and then he ended up calling me after a game that he had played, and he was like, you're right, like this kid's the real deal. And then now you look at him now, with his numbers he had last year, and how much he's grown and developed as a player, as a goalie, and even his personality. Like he's very easygoing in the locker room, but works really hard and kind of keeps to himself when when he has to work. And so but I think our whole team is confident having Juice in the pipes, because he's just such a great goaltender and a great person to have. So you need to obviously support him, and we got to play well in front of him. We don't want to make it hard, and as hard as we did last year on him, just because it's might be a little bit easier when we don't give up that many shots on him. So but he's more capable of leading the charge and helping our team win a lot of games.
Something that we've talked about, and I'm curious of your answer as a player, is John's only been here for about a year and a half, and because of COVID and everything, and he started in the middle of a year, he really hasn't had a full traditional training camp like he's getting now. How much of a benefit is that for you all as players to go through the full process with him, have a full training camp roster like you really haven't been able to do?
It's great, I think, because just you got those practice days and the scrimmages with the exhibition games, and I think it really allows our team to hammer down on details with structure and systems and whatnot, but it also allows for guys to get used to each other again, and kind of get back moving into physicality and making sure we're ironing out any details or any unknowns. So I think it's huge for our team, and it'll be nice to actually have these 3 weeks to kind of prepare yourself and try and get better and be ready for obviously the regular season.
How excited are you to go up against some of these new offensive pieces like a Cody Glass that was acquired, Philip Tomasino's a young guy coming up through the ranks, and then also I'll put Tolvanen in that category as well as he continues to grow?
Yeah, sometimes as a D-man, you look at your forward group and you see how much talent you have up there. So I know a big part of my game is moving the pucks and giving the pucks to the forwards at the right time. So I think just with those young guys, and they're coming in, they're so skilled, and they can make plays anywhere on the ice. So just giving them the pucks at the right time and kind of letting them see what they can do, and obviously coming up the ice and trying to support them. So But yeah, it's I can't wait to see them out on the ice and see what they're able to do out there.
Dante, good stuff as always. Appreciate the visit, and we look forward to seeing you here real soon, which will be nice. It's been weird not being around you guys.
Thank God hockey's back.
No doubt about it. Hey, appreciate it as always.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
That is Predators defenseman Dante Fabro, and they are indeed back in the mix and ready to get after it. Double dip on Sunday. Our coverage will begin at 12:30 here on these airwaves. 1 o'clock puck drop between the Predators and the Florida Panthers. I want to talk to you about Draftkings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, and Draftkings is kicking off another week of action by giving all new customers a can't-miss offer. Listen to this. All you have to do is bet $1 on any football game this week and receive $150 in free bets instantly, no matter what. By the way, there is a game tonight, Carolina and Houston. This football season, all customers can swing big with the DraftKings same-game parlays. Same-game parlays allow you to combine multiple bets for a bigger payout. This week, place a same-game parlay on any NFL game, and you will be credited up to $25 if your bet loses. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code 1025GAME, and receive $100 or $150 in free bets instantly when all you have to do is place a $1 bet on any football game. That code again, 1025GAME. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, you must be 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Hang out with us every weekday starting at 6 a.m. with Robbie and Rexroad.
I really am. You gotta be. I mean, I just totally am. You've gotta be.
Darren, Daunic, and Chase from 10 to 2.
Good participation.
We have a system now, thank goodness.
I had a funny moment happen.
And Stillman and Company from 2 to 6.
I have a story.
Get a cupcake.
Watch live on Periscope, Twitch, and YouTube. Tune in anytime on the Game Nashville app or your home speaker. This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. There's no better time to upgrade your essential home systems than this month with Hiller. They're offering credits for your old home systems. Trade in your old HVAC unit and earn up to $1,500 in credits towards a select new system. Upgrade from a standard water heater to a tankless water heater and earn up to $500 with your trade. Trade up to a new electrical panel and earn up to $500 in credits for your old one. Their work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or Services Free guarantee. Their technicians are continuing to take measures to keep you and your family safe and healthy on every single call. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud sponsors of the Nashville Predators, Vanderbilt, and the Tennessee Volunteers.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, Craneworks. The Craneworks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give Craneworks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call Craneworks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Bode Nashville puts you in a chic and stylish downtown Nashville hotel. Walking distance to some of Music City's most popular spots. Working with local partners, they introduce you to the city, its craft, and its tastes. From their porch coffee and marketplace, serving local coffee from Stay Golden, to their in-house cocktail bar, Sidebar. Bode Nashville is a perfect spot for your pregame or nightcap and citywide adventure in between. Connect to Music City, its culture, its craft, and each other at Bode Nashville at 401 2nd Avenue South in Sobro.
Hey, this is Jared, the owner of MTGRT.com. If your mortgage rate is not in the twos, then you need to call me now. We are locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. That's right, you heard it right. Locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. Text me on my personal cell at 615-969-2257 or fill out a few pieces of information on our website, MTGRT.com. MTGRT.com is the proud sponsor of Paul Feinbaum, heard on 1025 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Thank you, Joey. Back here on Darren, Daunic, and Chase, presented by Creation CBD. Creation CBD, products curated for life. Don't forget, today at high noon, we'll have our silly underdog picks. We'll get our panel discussion going. We'll review our picks from last week and make our new selections this week.
Do we have
this
to
show? College football and one college football game and one NFL game is how we do it. You, the listeners, get 3 cracks at it. Yeah, 3 opportunities. And don't forget, we've got weekly prizes, but your underdog team must win outright to get the points. And we've got a pair of tickets to a sporting event or a concert. All you have to do is go to GameNashville.com to play right now. Silly underdog picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gaskets. So looking forward to that in about an hour and a half or so. Thanks to Dante Fabro for joining us as they get geared up for another hockey season. It's here. It's starting to feel like it. A little bit. The weather's starting to – it's now officially fall, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yesterday was first day, right?
Yep. But you know what? Like, the thing is, with them reporting for camp right now, I'll tell you what it's starting to feel like. Normal. Like, it's like this is when they're supposed to be reporting for training camp. They're getting ready for 82 games. We're not talking about, a condensed schedule or shortened camp or no preseason, those things. I mean, this is the first time in 2 years that we're going to be, broadcasting a doubleheader like we do every year on our airwaves. So I know we're not normal. Like, things aren't normal right now. There's still a lot of things to combat and all of that, but it's inching that way, which feels good.
Indeed, it does.
I'm curious to see what his season looks like.
I didn't you think, Darren? I thought he was very open about having a chip on his shoulder. He was frustrated that he was not in the mix for the playoffs, but I think he was willing to say he was a step slow and had not come back from his injury the way he wanted to, but it drove him. And I think he noted a couple of things there if you were listening closely, because I was being told this during the offseason. He changed some things. He worked on his skating. He got a skating coach. I think he got a new training regimen from a strength standpoint. He really dove in there and said, I've got to get better. And there's a great opportunity for him with Ryan Ellis being traded. He and Alex Carrier are as critical as any 2 players on this team. And you would throw Phil Myers in there because as right-handers, you've got to find the right 2 right-handers to play with the left-handers, Yossi and Ekholm. Yossi and Ekholm are not going to play together. They're both left shots. So who are the right players to play on the right side with those 2 guys? And I think you can tell Fabro wants to be one of those guys. He has been for a while. But he's had growing pains. We noted that he did not get the seasoning that Alex Carrier got in Milwaukee. And I mentioned Ryan Suter. Remember, Ryan Suter was jumping right to the Predators, but then the lockout happened where they missed an entire season. But you know what happened? They played in Milwaukee, and he played an entire season.
He and Shea both did, right?
And Dan Hamhuis, who was also a really young player at the time. And so they got some very valuable seasoning.
Sure.
That maybe they wouldn't have gotten. And we know you can't go back and change how things were, but I think the Predators see the polished product of Alex Carrier because he was almost overripe, to use a term that Carl Taylor used here recently. Kara Hammer was talking to him with Brooks Bratton on the podcast. Carl Taylor in Milwaukee watched Alex Carrier have to wait and wait and wait, but still found ways to get better and better so that when he got the chance last year, he was ready to contribute. And Dante Fabro was taking a different path. He was put right in there because they thought he was ready, and he was to a degree, but there's some things that I think at this point in his career, he felt like he had to address.
Yeah.
And so those two guys are really important players. I haven't watched Myers enough to know where he fits in this, but I think we've watched Carrier and Fabro get to this point, and this is a really interesting year for them.
I think the point you make too, Willie, is Shea and Suter and pretty much everybody, they got that Milwaukee time, and Fabro didn't. And so that you certainly can see the difference.